Hi, it's Dorothy Guining with Scrapbooking Quebec. Today I'm participating in the YouTube collaboration Stretch the Sketch, and that's where we take a 12 by 12 sketch and we alter it. Here's November's sketch, and some of us are going to be stretching it, others shrinking it. My plan is to take it and create a double page layout. I found this one quite challenging, so I am looking forward to seeing what the others do with it. You will find links to all the other participants in the description box below, so be sure to check them out. It should be pretty good this month. Here is what I'll be using. Most of it comes from the Paige Evans Go the Scenic Route collection. I do end up digging into my tools, and I'll talk about that later on. Here is what I have on my desk. So I have the sketch, of course, and my plan is to flip it on its side. I prepared a frame style foundation with 2 sheets of paper, and I gutted one of them, and there is a tutorial on my channel where I do that, so I'll link that up below as well. I'm showing you the paper I have on my desk, and I also have this cut apart sheet that is cut apart, those ticket strips. I cut that up for a different project, but I do plan on using it here today. I matted 5 photos in white cardstock, and I have a tray full of embellishments, and a lot of them I punched out with my punches and my dies. So you can see the sketch now is in the top left hand corner. So I'm going to show you how I plan to place the main elements on my page. I've got 2 photos that are going to go on the left hand side, like on the sketch, except my photos are larger. I'm going to place a large border on the right page, and that I'm going to place 3 photos in the border. Now, if you look at the sketch, there are 2 half circles, one at the bottom right and one at the top left. So I have my Creative Memories custom cutting system that I don't use that often, but I do dig it out every once in a while, and I'm cutting out 3 circles, 1 large one and 2 half circles. So those are going to be placed across the 2 pages to create a visual triangle. That large one's going to go in the middle. That's going to be where my journaling box is. As you can see, I have 2 white circles with lines in them. So one of them is going to go in that large one in the middle. The other white one is going to go on the right hand side of the page, just because I want to add a bit more white to that page. You can see that the 2 foundation pages are completely different. I've got a white one on the left and that floral one on the right. So I want to add a bit more white to that page on the right. That's all. Kind of a repetition from the left-hand page. Also, while I'm adhering these page parts to the page, to the foundation pages, I'm just going to talk about the foundation page, because often when I stretch a sketch, I take the foundation page and kind of stretch it across 2 pages. And in this case, it would be that frame style foundation simply stretched across a 24 by 12 canvas. But in this case, I decided to do it really different. I have 2 pages that are really, really different. But I will unite these 2 pages, first of all, with a visual triangle, which is starting with those 3 big circles across the 2 pages. But I will also unite them with color and with repetition. So it's just a fun, dynamic, different way of creating a double page spread, of stretching a sketch. Obviously, I want to repeat the floral paper that's on the right, on the left, and that's exactly what you see me doing right now. I'm simply cutting myself 2 narrow photo mats for the photos on the left-hand side. And then what I'll do is I'm actually going to slow down the film quite a bit, because I want to talk quite a bit about the embellishing. So as you can see, these are a whole bunch of embellishments that I have on my desk. So I'm going to show you these strips of paper. That was that cut apart sheet I was talking about earlier. If you look at the sketch, there are strips of paper in those circles at the bottom right and the top left. So that's where I plan to use those tickets. I'm just showing you those alphas from Bella Boulevard. I put the title Backyard Fun on wax paper. But for embellishments, basically I had ephemera packs for this kit, but they were so picked through, I decided to use my tools instead. So what I did was I got out that printed paper, had a good look at the flowers, then I went through my tools. And what I was looking for were punches and dies that would mimic be very similar to the flowers that you see in the paper. So I'm showing you those orange sketchy ones there. You kind of see those in the paper. The same thing here, that pink pansy there, I'm showing you the pansy punch from Stampin' Up. You can kind of see that in the paper, and on top of it, there's like a small yellow flower. So that red punch that I'm about to show you there, I punched that out in that orangey yellow paper, and I plan to layer the small flower on top of the big flower, and that kind of looks like what you see on the paper. Also, I needed some leaves, and there are two different kinds of leaves on that printed paper, but one of them looked an awful lot like the leaves that were part of that die set Stylish Stems from Stampin' Up. That's as well the same die set I used to punch out those orange flowers. So I plan to create embellishment clusters with those flowers. Also, what I pulled from my stash was this stamp and punch set. It's called Pretty Parasol from Stampin' Up, and it's new to me. Basically, it's been on my desk waiting to be used. And since these photos were taken in my backyard, around my backyard umbrella, I thought, what the heck, I might as well use it. So now what I'm going to do is start creating my embellishment clusters. Now, I create the embellishment clusters on camera here, but when I go to adhere them, I do lose a tiny bit of footage. So if this part interests you, I suggest you watch closely. So I started by putting those tickets at the bottom. I do plan on trimming them down. And now what I'm doing is I'm working from the larger pieces and working my way down to the smaller pieces. So I started with those orange flowers, kind of place them around my page where my embellishment clusters will be. And now what you see me doing, actually before adhering those pink flowers, is just adding a few more yellow centers to those pink pansies. Now I'm taking those pink pansies and kind of nestling them beside those larger orange flowers, basically building on my embellishment clusters. And as you can see, I consider myself with 3 embellishment clusters here. There's the photo area, which is like one giant embellishment cluster. Then there's the journaling box that spans across the 2 pages. That's cluster number 2. And finally, there's a smaller embellishment cluster, and that is the one on the far right. So I'm continuing here, and now what I'm doing is coming in with the leaves. So I tucked the leaves in and around those embellishment clusters, but I decide I want a few more smaller flowers. So I got out that punch at the small punch and just punched out a few small pink flowers. I do decide I want an umbrella. So I'm getting out this stamp and punch set, and I'm simply stamping out the umbrella in black on white paper. I do that a few times in a few different shapes of the umbrella, as well as the umbrella handle. And then what I'll do is stamp out a little expression that's part of this stamp set that says, "It's a happy day." And what you're going to see me do is take my punch them out, as well as get my Big Shot out, and I end up cutting out the expression with my Big Shot. While I'm doing this, I just want to talk a little bit about my photos, because I have to mention that these photos are here for YouTube. When they go in my album, these pages, those photos are going to be switched up a bit. Some of them are going to be on the page still, but other ones will be different photos. That's simply because when I do pages on YouTube, sometimes I have to switch up the photos because the other people don't want to be on YouTube. I just felt the need to say it because there are 5 pictures of me here, and I find it kind of embarrassing. Anyway, there will be other photos, that's all I'm saying, when they go in my album. Okay, so you can see I've got my Big Shot out, and I'm using what I call a circle stitch die. It's a die set from Stampin' Up that I absolutely love, so I simply cut that out. I ended up cutting out 2 of them, but you'll see that a bit later on. And as you can see, that is exactly where I lost a bit of footage here. I adhered the embellishment cluster around the journaling box in the middle, and for some strange reason, it wasn't filmed. Now what you see me doing is working in the top left-hand corner. I did tuck in some of those tickets there. I feel the need to because they're on the sketch, but they don't end up staying. This layout is quite busy, quite colorful, and it's a little bit out of my comfort zone. I do end up liking it, but I ended up having to remove some stuff. Anyway, you can see me working on the embellishment cluster with the flowers here, and I do add that parasol in. It does end up getting dropped a little bit later on. And some of these flowers I am popping up on foam adhesive. I stopped the film, continued adhering my title, and now I'm simply adding a few flowers underneath that photo cluster on the left. Once I get this down, then what I'm going to do is work on the embellishment cluster on the far right. So all I'm doing there, kind of the same thing. I come in with the orange flower, the big one, then as well with those pink pansies. And I do add that circle there that says it's a happy day. I ended up as well adding the very same one in a smaller circle though. It's a happy day in the top left corner. You can see that I'm struggling with those tickets. On the sketch there are those strips of paper in the embellishment cluster on the top left. I ended up not using them. As you can see, I've got a lot going on in this page, and typically I like to have a little bit of breathing room on my pages, and I just felt I had too much going on. So just because something is on a sketch doesn't mean you have to use it. That's how I work anyway. What you see me doing right now is coming in with some enamel dots and simply adding some to the middle of those flowers. And once that's done, I simply get out this a set of puffy stickers from, again, Paige Evans, but it's from the Grateful collection. And there's these polka dots on them. I found them quite cute. Same colors, so I added a few in 3 different spots on the page, and that's it. All I do off camera is do my journaling in that box in the middle, and that's pretty much it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to Scrapbooking Quebec, I'd be absolutely thrilled if you did. Also, be sure to check out all the other participants. Their links are in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching, and have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.